started backwards, so you started with the one-man script, but where did this specific story come from in your brain? I'm really geeked out over Sam Rockwell right now, so my I'm usually much more eloquent.
It was kind of a list. We had a list of things that we were trying to do on the film, and we knew that it was going to be for Sam. Sam and I actually met up in New York. I guess it was about a year before we started shooting the film, and I gave him this script for something called Mute, which is a film that I've been trying to make for a long time, and he seemed to like it.
Yeah.
But it was probably just too big a film to try and make as a first feature. And Sam and I started talking about, well, what kind of films could we make, together? Because I wanted to work with him, and I think the scripts and meeting made you feel a bit more comfortable about working with me.
Yeah. We talked about sci-fi, about doing sci-fi, and we talked about what made a good sci-fi movie, and just we're talking about Alien and Outland and
Silent Running.
Silent Running.
Blue Stone and Silent Running.
Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah.
About working class guys as well, about sort of blue collar working class people. And,
yes.
There weren't at the time when Moon came out. There weren't that many science fiction films that were about working class people in the future.
Regular people. Yeah.
So that was kind of part of the list of what we wanted to do. Something that was Sam, small cast because we had no money, working, kind of working class environment. Something where we didn't have to rely on the British weather, so we wanted to shoot everything in a studio. We also wanted to use practical effects as much as possible. I mean, there was that period of science fiction films that came out in the late 70s, well, maybe most of the 70s really, where they just had an aesthetic that was very different than science fiction films that were coming out in the noughties, in the mid-2000s. And we just wanted to get back to that old look. And fortunately, there were a few guys left. There was in particular a guy called Bill Pearson who worked on Alien, who was a model miniatures builder, who was still around at Shepton Studios where we shot. And no one else was doing that work anymore, making model miniatures in that traditional way. And we were able to get him involved, and that had a huge impact.
Sam, can you talk about acting with yourself and what that's like?
It's weird. It's weird. And Duncan and I were kind of new to the whole thing. We had some reference points, like they did this trick in Adaptation and Dead Ringers, Cronenberg film with Jeremy Irons. And so those were good reference points.
There was a Criterion edition DVD for Dead Ringers as well.
Yeah, the Criterion edition of Dead Ringers, which had the extras, and it showed you sort of how they did the motion control and a bunch of that stuff, and commentary that I listened to and Duncan listened to. And that gave us a little bit of a hint of how to go about it. But we were kind of in the dark. I mean, we were just pretty nervous about it. Right?
We got a lot better at it after rehearsals and as the shoot went on. But it was one of those things where we had a really great technical team around us, and everyone got really excited about the script, and we learned a lot while we did it.
We had a actually, remember Paddy?
He was the sound guy. He saved our ass. Yeah.
Paddy had a great idea of being able to put all of our rushes, not all of our rushes, our selected rushes
of
the wide shot onto a little iPod, so that you could watch them while you were in makeup. So we kind of record one side of the conversation, and then we would choose which take we thought was, that's the master take, that's the one we're going to use for the majority of the scene. And then Sam would go out to do makeup and wardrobe change. And while they were doing makeup, you'd be rehearsing and watching to that.
A very unique way of actually taking advantage of an hour-and-a-half makeup change, which when budgeting and scheduling a film with one actor, you're like, an hour and a half, really?
Yeah, so not even 45 minutes.
What is it, something that you, like, I'm going to do all the first Sam today, and then I'm going to do all the second Sam today, or were you going back and forth?
We had to go back and forth. I mean, we tried to not make you have to do the changeover too many times. But just the way we did the scenes, you had to go back and forth a little bit.
What was the reception to the film when it came out? People really, I mean, I know that you
responded to it. People really liked it. I mean, we were really taken by how much people liked it.
Sundance was the first big screening we did, and that was at some place called the Eccles Theatre, which was
it's like 1,350 seats, you know,
Right.
and sold out. I remember literally the first press screening, Duncan and I were sitting in this little Irish bar, kind of just constantly looking at our phones. Like, okay, still nothing. Still nothing. And then literally within 2 minutes of it finishing, you start seeing stuff online. That's the scary thing about filmmaking now, especially at festivals. You know, people start posting their reviews within minutes of the first ever screening. But it was a brilliant experience, and people really liked it.
And there was still, when it came out at Sundance, there was still a very good chance that the film was going to go straight to DVD, and that was the only way you were going to be able to see it. So the Sundance made a huge difference to us, because that's when Sony Classics picked it up and said that they were going to go theatrical with it. So that was a big deal.
Shall we take some questions?
Yeah, please, yeah.